What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video, and as I try to do, bring you guys new and different brands on the channel as often as possible. Today we have another brand, Waldhoff. This is Manufaktur Waldhoff, a German brand who make pretty complicated watches. They offer a bunch of different style of watches. However, a lot of their watches are complicated. They have tourbillons. This one has a bunch of different complications. So getting right into it, the box that I have here is for reviewers. This is not the typical box that it would come in. I believe it comes in a wood box. You do get a manufacturer warranty card here, and then this is just directing you to the website for instructions on the watch, so that it does not come with a manual. You have to go to the website for it. A lot of brands are doing that just to save paper. It is also a cost savings, I would imagine. Also, you get a little polishing cloth, which is a nice addition. And here is the watch. So a little hang tag on here, a little plastic hang tag. It just says Manufaktur Waldhoff. Again, this is the rose gold version of the Multimatic. This gets a rose gold case, a stainless steel back. I mentioned they are made in Germany. This says made in Germany on the dial. However, this actually has a Miyota 9100 movement. The 9100 movement is made in Japan. I believe that they use a majority, for their movements, a majority of Asian sourced movements, so either China or Japan. This one has a Japanese movement, so they do have the manufactured in or made in Germany on the dial there at 6 o'clock. So I'm not sure what the actual requirements are for getting that label. However, they have met them, and I know that they're somewhat strict, but just as strict as I would say made in Switzerland is. So definitely keep that in mind. This is a very good movement in here. Miyota 9100 is an excellent movement, and actually a pretty complicated movement. So this gets power reserve indicator at 12 o'clock. Then you have day, month, 24-hour indicator, and then a date there right down by 5 o'clock. So the dial itself is also a 3-layer dial, or at least that's what they're calling it. And I'll do close-up of this. You could see at the 12 o'clock indice, there is the power and reserve indicator, as I mentioned. That is the first layer, and that's sort of a sunburst that's radiating from that 12 o'clock indice at the top of the dial. Then there's a second layer. That second layer houses all the other dials on here, all the other sub-dials, the day, the month, and the 24-hour indicator. Also the date. And there's a little red accent there at 6 o'clock on one of the hands. The hands are actually loomed here. So the hour and minute hands are loomed. And then for some reason, they have loomed the day and the month. However, obviously, the day and the month is not loomed. So when you're in the dark, seeing the day and the month is really not that important to begin with. But unless you already knew what the day or month is, it wouldn't make a difference, because if it's loomed, you wouldn't be able to see what days are actually on the dials in the dark anyway. Then there is a third layer, as I mentioned. That third layer is the outer chapter ring of the actual dial itself. That chapter ring has applied indices. Those indices are in rose gold as well. And there is just number markings on the outside of that ring as well. Really nice, actually, and there's a sunburst effect there at 6 o'clock around that bottom dial. It looks really good. The dial has a lot of depth to it. Then the case itself, as I mentioned, is rose gold plated. The sides are coined, so you have a coined side to both sides of the case, all the way around, really. It is completely coined. And it looks good, sort of Breguet reminiscent. You have a sign crown. You do get hacking and hand winding, obviously, on this movement. You have quick deployment strap on here. So there are screws on the sides of the actual lugs. Those screws are not real. So they are spring bar held in. The strap is held in with spring bars, not those screws. So you do have a quick deployment to remove them. You get a milled clasp on here, which is sort of a bespoke clasp for the brand, and it just has a little bevel edge all the way around, and it also is signed. The strap itself is leather, so it says Italian leather on the strap, and then it's just signed the brand's name. You could see the the actual movement from the back. And the movement, I always say this about 9000 series movements, they are good looking. Miyota 9000 series movements are very, very good looking. This watch, dimension wise, is pretty good. 42.5 millimeters wide, 14 millimeters thick, so you can see it isn't a thin watch. However, I think it's thick because of that multi-layering dial, which is quite interesting. So it is also a sapphire crystal here on the front, and then you get 50 meters water resistance, which is nice, I guess, because obviously you're not going to go really swimming with a watch like this, especially when you have a leather strap on it. So that is just an added little niceness to the watch, I guess. Other than that, the functionality of the watch is pretty smooth. The day is very easy to change. You could just rotate the hours to get the day to change. The date obviously changes with the crown, and that's the same functionality as you would get with any 9000 series Miyota movement. The actual month is changed by this pusher. However, when you get to the 31st, the actual day will change, and then the month will change. So that's actually very nice. And then you have a 24-hour indicator there at 6 o'clock. That's independent, and it is tied to the actual time of what is in the main display. Very nice. You have running seconds. There is a counterweight with that Waldhoff logo on there. I'm not sure I'm too crazy about that because it doubles up on the logo. I always like to just have one logo on a watch, and I feel like you have two on here because of that counterweight. Although it is transparent, so it is sort of clear, not clear, but it is not filled in, so it's not very, very prominent on the dial. I really like the power reserve indicator. I love power reserves. I think power reserves are probably one of the most useful complications besides a GMT, in my opinion, and of course a day or a date. Those are all useful complications, and this does have a lot of the useful complications on it, but usually any watch with a power reserve I think is a very good complication to get if you're looking for one. So really quick, I'm going to throw this watch on my wrist. I'll do a quick wristwatch check. We'll do a quick lume check as well. The lume on this watch isn't going to be great. It's nice that it has lume at all. I don't think they really needed to put lume on this. This is obviously a dress watch. Lume is not that important. This does get Tri-Tech lume. It is Swiss Tri-Tech, I believe they're calling it. So I'm sure it's not really good lume anyway. So just a tricky thing with lume. Should you do it? Should you not? A lot of people will not even buy a watch if it doesn't have lume. I think in the case when you buy a dress watch, I'm a lume junkie, and when you're buying a dress watch, lume is not that important. It's really not meant for sport. It's more meant for formal occasions and things like that. However, that's just me, and that's just the way I feel. I like to get lume when I get lume, and I'm happy about it. So even when you could put it on a dress watch, that's fine. So really quickly, today I am wearing the SKX. This is my personal SKX that I beat the living hell out of through all of the testing that I did when I did the series Killing the SKX. Just an amazing watch. I just recently been wearing it just for a few days because I miss it. And it just looks really good. I left the crown, I actually ceramic coated the entire watch, and I just left the crown ceramic coated, which I think looks really good. I took the ceramic coating off the whole entire watch. The bezel's all beat up, and it just looks good though. It's really, it's got a lot of character, this watch. Anyway, I'll throw the Waldhoff on my wrist. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. This is a brand new strap on here, so it's a little bit hard to get on, but it will break in very nicely. This is an all stainless steel watch, and you can see it doesn't wear tiny. It is almost a 43 millimeter watch, and it is thick, so you can see that thickness from the side. The other thing is that stainless steel does peek out a little bit from the back, so that does give it away that it is a PVD coated watch. Not incredibly, not a bad thing in my opinion. It doesn't look bad, and you really can't see it that much. But it's something to consider. I would definitely, if it's for me, and as I always say, I would always go for the non-PVD coated watch. I would go for the stainless steel watch. If it's going to be a gold watch, unless it's a all black watch or something like that, I would go with the stainless steel version rather than the rose gold or gold version that is not solid gold. Again, these are affordable watches. This comes in at $675. You're getting what looks like a much more expensive watch in my opinion. You're getting a lot of specs. That Miyota movement is really nice and good to look at, as I mentioned. Sapphire crystal, pretty good dimensions, a little bit thick, 14 millimeters thick, but not incredibly thick. 42.5 millimeters. It does fit pretty good on my 7.5 inch wrist, as you can see. So really quickly, I will do a Lume shot and then we will wrap up the video. And there you have it. The Lume is pretty good, and I mean, it's not incredibly bright, but this is not to be expected from a dress watch, like I said, so it's a nice added touch. I don't really know why they Lume the other two hands on here, the day and the month. You know, whatever, it's fine. You're not gonna really be able to tell the day and the month in the dark, but you will be able to tell the time on your dress watch, which is nice. So Luming it is an added little bonus, I think. I will be wearing this over the next few days, few weeks, and I will tell you guys what I think of it. First impressions though, I think it's a pretty cool watch, and I think they're actually offering a very, very good discount right now. I think it's either 20 or 30% off on their website till August, and I think it's like August 4th. I will put a link to their website in the description below. Check them out. They are offering a very good discount. Like I said, this comes in at $675. However, like I said, you can definitely get them cheaper through their website. They offer a lot of specials, which is good. And they also offer a couple of really cool watches, tourbillons and stuff like that. Definitely check them out. Anyway, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. Please also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description below. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it doesn't have to be the items that I have linked to. It goes to help supporting the channel. It does not interrupt your Prime benefits or cost you anything extra, and it is very much appreciated. And really, that is it. So thank you, and I will catch you guys in the next video.